Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I would like to share with you one of the greatest wins of my chess career. About a week ago, all of the chess.com folks were hanging out in Toronto for the chess.com Global Championship, and one night we decided to play some blitz and live stream it. And I defeated Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky. Now, of course, it's just a meaningless 3-minute game, but for me, games like this are a massive boost to my confidence because, well, I've retired from over-the-board play due to nerves and not being able to fully commit myself to study. So winning games like this makes me super proud. And I hope Danya forgives me for making a video about this. So this video is split into two parts. The first one is the live footage of the game within a big board. And then after that, you have the analysis. I will take you through every single move in detail. So enjoy this video, enjoy this big confidence boost. And before we jump into the game, I just want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Incogni. Folks, it's 2022. The world is more borderless and online than ever before. You probably don't realize this, but your personal information is being leaked via hacks and literally sold by data brokers. And I mean your name, your address, your contact information, potentially your social security number, and your shopping habits, and even so much more. The smallest inconvenience of this is you getting a daily telemarketing call. But that's where Incogni comes in. They fight on your behalf to remove your personal data from data brokers. All you have to do is create an account and grant them the ability to work on your behalf. And then they'll get to work removing your data from the deepest, darkest corners of the web. You are going to be shocked in how many places there is random scattered personal information about yourself. I highly recommend a service like Incogni because it helps you protect yourself against the small annoyances of the world getting more digital and also potentially the far more serious ones. And if you're interested in Incogni, I want you to click the link in the description below. Governments move slowly when it comes to these types of issues, but there is technology to protect yourself. And if you're interested in Incogni, I want you to click the link in the description below. And the first 100 people to use the code Gotham will get 20% off. Now that you're done protecting your data, let's get back to the video.
Vamos.
All right.
Vamos. I'm gonna sit here.
This is like my favorite. Oh,
This is mine. Oh, I don't know this at all. I already resigned.
it's okay.
Okay.
I remember you once hit me with some G5, or was that
Thanks,
you?
Fan Duster.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm just sitting next to the cam.
Oh no, some E5, like 94 E5.
E5?
Oh, that was.
What takes an E5? Yeah.
Yeah, Kirilla.
Okay, here we go.
Good six.
Okay.
Yeah, resign.
Didn't we do
Petition.
Oh, this is very.
very good.
Yeah, no Nemo on stream. Just a
Fine.
fire
Shop
here.
of 5. Yeah. Really clever.
I've done it before.
Wait, what? Actually?
No, it's okay.
Is
Garbage, yeah? What I'm doing.
Why is there a tag for Finland? Because I grew up in
Playing like
Finland.
shit, yeah.
That's my home
It's
country.
garbage, yeah. Take.
Okay, but after seeing last game, I think God is definitely watching your side of the board.
It's a disaster, though.
No, it's not disaster. This is.
It's surmountable.
The table comes with the perfect
Am I
phone
right?
holder. That's
It's the
great.
perfect chat holder.
Yeah.
I was like streaming for an hour earlier.
It's not good
People
for
were like, "Oh, you're like out of town. Where are you?"
What?
Like,
Did anybody tune into the CGC or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes people like leave the stream for a couple months, they come back, it's one thing, but I'm like, I feel like I've been shilling the out of this event, like
Yeah.
in a good way.
I know.
I've just been
Yeah.
like, I've never
all
posted
over
more on
Twitter.
Instagram, Twitter. I'm like super hyped, like super excited, and
Wow, Levy, nice background.
Yeah.
yeah, like wow, where are you? All right.
I will literally have where I am always in the stream title. I'm literally walking down New York City with the Empire State Building behind me, and people will be like, "Where are you?" I'll be like, "Yo, guys, so where do you think I am?"
Yeah, I saw that move, but I just assumed, I don't know.
Nice, then could counter play. Yeah.
It's actually all a green screen.
Just defense.
all the green screen.
Yeah.
All of life.
All of life is just a green
All
screen.
of
Life
said.
is a green screen.
Danny's take on life. I love it.
Life is a green screen.
Yeah.
Life is a green screen.
Did Fabi say anything?
He's texting with me now, negotiating terms.
Negotiating terms? What does he want?
Still lying. Just wants to know what's still going on.
Okay. We still have all the sets and
Thank
stuff
you.
here, so if we wanted to set up more tables,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Can I plug into this, or is that going to mess up your...
What?
Can I plug into this power?
There's only one, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's no touch move, yeah?
Sorry.
That was very confusing.
Fabi wants 20K subs to his podcast.
20,000 subscribers to his podcast.
Yeah. His terms.
How many is he at right now?
I don't know.
Rosen's like, I can deliver on this.
Yeah, I can deliver that. Eric's like literally doing the math. That's gonna get us Fabi here tonight. No, I don't think Donnie is playing with odds here.
Rest. Chad is just shook. I have a good
That's a
position for
great
the first
idea
time in my
by
life.
me.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Thanks, Pika Canada, for the prime. Danny at C squared would be awesome.
It hurts.
There's maybe 7 with a trap on queen there. I think.
Really?
I think so.
That's hilarious.
That's very annoying. Actually.
Yeah, it was,
Like
You-
you trap your own queen by shoving. you played 95 and trap your own
Yeah.
queen. That's hilarious.
I don't know if I have this. I mean, there's queen d7, but I might just be losing here.
That's hilarious.
Why is Levy so good at blitz?
Why is Levy so good at blitz?
Yeah.
Wow.
He doesn't know. He's been searching his whole life for the answers.
GG.
Wow.
GG.
Mr. Rosen defeats Mr. Naroditsky.
That's not my last name.
The rose.
Mr. Ross.
Yeah.
Mr. I mean, there's 2 R's. They both end in N. They both have a Z sound in the middle.
That was like very decent game actually.
That was a really nice game.
All right, everybody, I said I would take you through the game in a little bit more detail, my thought process, and the longer analysis of some of these moves. Of course, I have to preface this by saying this is just a random 3-minute game in a hotel room in Toronto, and it is not really significant and should not be dissected beyond a reasonable measure. But this was a fantastic confidence boost for me. You know what I mean? Like, games like this really make me realize that I actually do have some potential if I do choose to come back to competitive play, assuming I can hold my nerves together. Now, so there's this interesting thing that I've never shared with you. If aliens were pointing a laser beam at planet Earth and they said, Levy Rosman has to play a game with the white pieces, and I have to choose one opening to save humanity, in the words of Max Kellerman, I got Iguodala, right, to take the 3-point shot. That might not mean anything to you. Don't worry about it. I would play the Trumpowski, and that is what I did. Like, if I have one opening to save humanity, it's going to be the Trumpowski. It's probably my favorite opening. I understand the positions really well. It's also in my D4 Dynamite course, available at chessly.com, which is my website. And the reason I really like the Trumpowski is because after knight e4, there's this move h4. Now, when I played h4 against Danya, he literally said the words, oh, like this, like I don't know what to do against this, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's move 3, and he doesn't have a good line against it. And, you know, when I clinched my last International Master Norm, actually my second one, I played this against Sam Sevian, who's a very strong player, and he also did not have like a good response here. So d5, knight d2, and again, if you're confused about this, the idea is just to pressure this. If black castles, I'll have a strong attack. Not right now, because he can't, but then other ideas like g6, sacrificing the pawn. And Danya here wasted a little bit of time, so I just played a typical Trumpowski way, setting up with my E and C pawns. Kind of typical of the London as well. And now I will play knight f3, bishop d3, and so on. He played knight c6, knight f3. And here, you know, he can already finish his development and so on and so forth, but he decides to attack. And I have a couple of ways of guarding my b2 pawn, but in general, when the queen comes out to b6, you should also bring your queen out to b3. And now these queens have a staring contest. Now, the interesting thing here is, if you're kind of new to chess, you go, oh, of course takes because doubled pawns, right? But actually, this is a great improvement to one side over the other. This is a massive improvement for white, who now has opportunity to take, solidify the structure, play b5 in the future. And the same would happen, for example, if after this move, I would do this. This actually helps black more than it helps me. And black will play b5, b4, and like suddenly I'm under severe pressure. And I cannot play a3 because of this pin. So that would be a nice tragic way to lose the game. So I played queen b3, and I kind of entered the staring contest with his queen. He kicked me out. And the thing about the move c4, what I know about positions in the London and the Trompowsky is that if there is no good follow-up, freezing the structure like this for black is very bad, because I'm going to go e4. And I'm just going to shred open the center of the board. And you can't really stop e4. But Danya tried to stop e4 by playing the move g6. And here I paused, right? Here actually, he and I had an exchange. I thought his idea here after this was bishop f6 and bishop f5. Zwischenzug in between move, I move my queen, and now he completely cuts the light squares, and the position is actually pretty decent for him. But then I quickly realized that that's not possible at all, because I would just play the move e4 here. And, well, if he does this, he never actually took back my bishop, so I'm just gonna go get a rook. So I'm winning. Like, if he takes on f3, I mean, I just don't have to hang my queen, but I'm up a rook. I just have an extra rook in this position. So the move bishop f5 just doesn't work. Now, I can play e4 straight away also, but I thought, well, I mean, my bishop's on g5 to take the knight on f6, right? That's the whole point of the Trompowsky. And now against c4, you're playing this move e4. This is always the standard antidote to the move c4, because you destabilize this and then you're going to win this. And suddenly I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like much better here. Like I'm in great shape. Now, Danya and I discussed the day after, actually, or 2 days after, while walking to Vietnamese food in Toronto with Eric Rosen, that here there's a way for black to actually lose this pawn and get a strong initiative. And the strong initiative is this absurd move, bishop h6. Computer's just such a scumbag. Loses this pawn, and then after bishop to f5, there's knight c4. So I'm up 2 pawns now. He takes my queen. I take his queen. He takes my knight. I take his knight. He takes my pawn, and apparently black's just a pawn down, but is like, okay. Like, the computer is just not afraid. It thinks that this bishop is a savage, really likes this powerful rook as well. Black will move the king, bring the other rook, and the computer's not convinced white is a whole lot better here. But Danya, as good as he is, and as good as I am, not as good as Danya, but yeah, neither one of us thought that that was reasonable, and instead, Danya just goes down a pawn. Like, he's just pawn down. Pawn down, and I have a much better position. Why do I have a much better position? I have a 4-on-2 in terms of pawns, so I literally have a pass pawn. That pawn can just go. He goes queen a6, and in this position, I was like, all right, well, I could play, like, you know, defense. I could play knight fd2, but I want to give a check, and now my knight is defended, and I'm going to castle, right? He plays king d7, which I saw this move, and the idea is rook e8, so now I castle. He, of course, plays rook e8, and I play queen d3, only move, protecting my knight. Now, at this point, I'm terrified. So I'm going to be dead honest with you. Like, I'm terrified because I'm beating him. And, you know, in my mind, like, the craziest thing is when I play, like, people my rating, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to win this game. When I play Danya, it's like, like, at some point, I'm going to lose. Like, that's just what's going through my mind. I'm, like, just waiting for him to, you know, it's not a healthy mindset. I know, but that's just the way I think. So he starts creating counterplay, right, against my c-pawn, and I defend. And so here I realize, okay, my pawn is hanging. I can't move it. But this is a target, and the queen can't take on c4 and defend b7, so I play this very nifty move, rook a b1. This is called tactical defense. Tactically defending my pawns by taking on b7. He plays the move b6, which is a logical move, and in this position, I'm like, all right, this is not really hanging, because I always have rook a1, and that the move rook a1 not only gets the pawn back, it literally wins his queen. So the idea was not to go there. It was to trap his queen, which I just did. So I play knight d2, and I figure, okay, that bishop is going to go to h6. I've already thought about this. But now I'm going to tactically defend this pawn by counterattacking the f6 pawn. So he cannot take on c4. I'm just not letting him get back in the game because he has a very weak king. Right? He has a very weak king. He takes on c4, I take on f6, he plays king to d8. And now I have a couple of infiltration ideas. So I can play queen f3, try to get into b7, and also d5 if he lets me. I also have queen g3 threatening literally mate in 1. Now, I play here a move that also threatens mate in 1, which is the move queen h3. I was thinking, how can I team my queen and knight up together, right? That was wrong. I should have teamed my queen and knight up like this. And there's a slight difference, according to the computer. I really couldn't tell the difference between these two moves. So I played queen h3. I liked that I could maybe play h5 in the future, maybe. But I saw this, and I did it. And he can play rook c7 here. But then I'm just going to centralize my rook. And I mean, it's just a nightmare position. Not to mention, I always have this idea. So I can just always walk my pawn down the board. So he played queen e6. And here I had this moment where I was like, look, I can keep the queens on, right? And I'm definitely winning because I'm up a pawn and his king is in the center. But I want to simplify the position. You know, like, if I'm going to be a good player, I got to beat a good player, I got to beat him, like, and give him no counterplay. And Danya's playing style is the more pieces on the board, the bigger the chances for counterplay. So what did I do? I traded queens and I went back. And now I'm like, okay, he can't do anything to me. He's down, he's pawn down still. This is a weakness. I'm going to use my weak flank pawn to break up his structure, infiltrate with my rook, and cause chaos. And this bishop has no targets. And I did not see a way that he gets rid of my knight and attacks my c-pawn. I just saw this position. I was like, wait a minute, his position's like frozen. He brings his king. I bring my pawn. He brings his rook. I play g3, preventing rook f4. He plays here. I don't really know what to do here, so I just kind of slide my king forward, just an improving move, prevent rook f3. He doubles up. I centralize this, and I still don't want to go gobbling this pawn, not just yet. He plays the move king e7, and now I'm like, rook b5. That was always my idea, to play the move a5, and there it is. So I've used my flank pawn to now give him 2 pawn islands to target. He plays the move a6, and I'm like, wait a minute, but I'm going to play rook e2, because I want to move my knight. This was a very nice move, I think. Because I wanted to play knight c5, but I was just kind of like worried there was some fork here, which is like low-key hanging, right? So I play rook e2, nice improving move. Now knight c5, and Danya plays bishop f8. He's like, take my pawn, stupid, so I can pin you. Because he's like a very nifty defender. And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. I have a tactic. Knight a6, knight b4. And now there are 2 hanging rooks. So if he takes this, I take this. If he takes this, I take this. I'm like, wait a minute, now I'm 2 pawns up. I'm just 2 pawns up. Danya goes here. I'm like, wait a minute, I have a fork. I'm 3 pawns up. And for the second time in this game, rather than playing rook d2 and pushing, I went, play the simple move. Snap take that bishop. If you want to be proving that you're a good player, you got to be able to win rook and 4 versus rook and 2, right? So I put my rook behind the pawn. I start pushing my pawn. He blockades it. But the good thing about having a 4-on-2 is that a 3-on-2 pawn endgame is winning. Like, there's a very rare case it's not. So what did I do? I'm like, I got to bring my king. He's got my king cut off, right? I walk my king back. Then I offer the rook trade to use it as a shield. This is a winning king and pawn endgame. I have more pawns. When you have more pawns, you're going to win the pawn endgame. So he can't do that. So I walk up, protect my pawns, block him off again, walk forward. And then here I'm like, okay, if I play king g5, I might be winning, but he's going to take on f3. And then he's going to take here. And then he's going to, you know, like maybe I'm winning. Maybe king g5 is winning. But I want to be completely bulletproof. So I play rook a4. And the idea was that if he takes, I have rook a6. And he cannot stop me coming here. But this is also very nice. Rook f6. Defending my pawn. And now that's it. He's going to lose both his pawns. I check him, guard my g-pawn, and push. And he can't take anything. And in this position, he resigned. It was one of my, I think, cleanest games ever. Like, I ran it through accuracy report after, and I got like a 78 because the computer is just a scumbag. You ever do that? You ever like finish a game? You're like, oh, I'm so hyped. That was such a great game. And the computer's just like, you suck and should never play chess again. I was so happy with this game. Like, you know, games like this take nothing away from the strong players that I played, but they're a massive confidence boost to me. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't care if this was a meaningless Blitz game. This was the only game in my life in Blitz that I've beaten Daniel Naroditsky. I've played him 7 or 8 times in Blitz since 2018 on chess.com. I think I have like 8 losses and 1 draw, or 7 losses and 1 draw. That's it. It's the first time I've ever beaten Daniel Naroditsky in a Blitz game. Like, I've beaten him in Hyper Bullet or some stupid stuff, but this was a big moment for me. And as stupid and silly as it is to make a video about a meaningless 3-minute game in a hotel room in Toronto, I was proud of this game. I was proud. It was a very nice game. And again, if I have to choose one opening to celebrate and to save humanity against aliens, it would be the Trumpowski. D4 Dynamite. Get it on my website. That's all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it this far in the video. And you know, maybe I'll go challenge some other Super Grandmasters in the future. You know the drill. Get out of here.